What's the loneliest place in the world? For a lot of us, it isn't at rock bottom. The loneliest place in the world is the day after the best day of your life. Think about it. You just got back from a life-changing trip, the one you saved up for years. You went to a music festival with your best friends, and for 3 days, you felt a sense of connection and transcendent joy that was more real than anything. You finished a massive creative project, and for a fleeting moment, you touched perfection. You had a spiritual experience, maybe during meditation, maybe in nature, maybe just on a random Tuesday, where the universe suddenly cracked open and you felt an overwhelming sense of peace and purpose. It was a mountaintop moment, a peak experience. And then, it's Wednesday morning. The festival is over. The trip is just a folder of photos on your phone. The brilliant idea you had is gone. The silence in your apartment feels heavy. The colors of the world seem duller, and a quiet, creeping anxiety begins to set in, a kind of spiritual hangover. Your biggest thought is, how do I get back there? This is one of the most common and least talked about struggles for our generation. We are actively encouraged to seek out these peak experiences, to live our best lives, but we are given absolutely no tools for what to do in the aftermath. We experience this incredible high, this profound moment of clarity, and our immediate, desperate impulse is to cling to it, to try and build a permanent home there. And when we can't, we feel like we've failed. This cycle of chasing highs and then crashing into disillusionment fuels our anxiety and our feeling of being lost. But what if the point of the mountaintop wasn't to stay there? What if the hangover isn't a sign of failure, but a necessary part of the process? There's a strange, ancient story, about 2,000 years old, that offers a profound and startlingly modern map for navigating this exact problem. It's a story about 3 friends who have the single most extraordinary experience of their lives, and how one of them, in a moment of pure, relatable humanity, almost misses the entire point. The story comes from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus takes his 3 closest friends, Peter, James, and John, and he leads them up a high mountain to pray. Just imagine this for a second. It's not a casual walk, it's a climb. They're tired, they're probably confused about why they're there. They get to the top, and Jesus begins to pray. Luke tells us that Peter and his friends were overcome by sleep. This is such a human detail. They're at the foot of what's about to be a world-altering revelation, and they're just trying to stay awake. And then, it happens. While Jesus is praying, his face begins to change. His clothes become, in the original Greek, exastrapton, which means flashing like lightning, dazzling white. He is radiating pure light. And as if that weren't enough, 2 legendary figures from their history, Moses and Elijah, appear out of nowhere and start talking with him. They're speaking about his exodus, his departure, that he was about to accomplish in Jerusalem. Peter, James, and John finally snap awake, and what they see is glory. Pure, undiluted glory. It's beautiful and it's terrifying. The psychologist Carl Jung has a word for this. He called it the numinous. The numinous is the experience of encountering a terrifying and fascinating mystery. It's that feeling of awe and dread you get when you stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon, or when you're caught in a powerful storm. It is a direct encounter with something wholly other, something bigger than your ego can possibly process. This is what the disciples were experiencing. And this is where the story turns into a masterclass on our modern dilemma. Moses and Elijah are about to leave. The vision is fading, and Peter, panicking at the thought of this perfect moment ending, blurts out, "Master, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." Luke adds a crucial, almost savage editorial note. He did not know what he was saying. Let's pause on this, Because Peter is all of us. He has just witnessed the human equivalent of a supernova, a glimpse into the very structure of reality. And his first unfiltered, ego-driven response is construction, administration, logistics. He wants to build tents. He wants to put a roof over the infinite. He wants to turn a dynamic, living revelation into a static, manageable monument. He's trying to trap lightning in a bottle. From a Jungian perspective, what we are seeing is the ego's reaction to encountering the self. In Jungian psychology, the self is the archetype of wholeness. It is the totality of our psyche, our fullest, most integrated, and authentic potential. It's the God image within us. In this story, the transfigured Jesus, shining like the sun, is a perfect symbol of the realized self. And Peter? Peter is the ego. The ego is our conscious mind, our sense of I. It's the part of us that manages our daily lives, that makes plans, that builds our persona, the mask we show to the world. The ego is essential, but its primary fear is losing control. When the ego encounters the overwhelming vastness of the self, it panics. It doesn't know what to do with an experience it can't manage or categorize. So it does what it does best. It tries to possess it, to institutionalize it, to build a tent around it. We do this all the time. We go on a perfect first date, and then we try to recreate it exactly, down to the same restaurant and the same conversation, only to find the magic is gone. We have a brilliant, world-changing idea in the shower, and we spend so much time trying to capture it perfectly in a business plan that the vital, creative spark dies. We go to a spiritual retreat and feel a profound connection, so we come home and try to force our family to adopt the exact same rituals, completely missing the inner experience and focusing only on the outer form. We are all Peter. We are all building tents. We are so terrified of losing the golden moment that we suffocate it. We choose the monument over the movement. But the story isn't over. As Peter is still babbling about his construction plans, something else happens. A cloud comes and casts a shadow over them. They become frightened as they enter the cloud. The light is gone, replaced by an ominous, confusing darkness. And then, from the heart of that terrifying, shadowy cloud, a voice speaks. It doesn't comment on Peter's architecture skills. It doesn't say, "Great idea, Peter, let's form a committee." The voice says one thing: "This is my chosen son. Listen to him." This is the pivot point of the entire story. This is the corrective message from the self to the ego. The cloud blots out the spectacular vision because the vision itself is not the point. The point isn't to stand there gawking at the light forever. The point isn't to build a shrine to a past experience. The voice commands them to do one thing: listen. Listen. Pay attention. Follow the journey. The voice directs them away from the static vision and points them toward a living, moving process. In Jungian terms, this is the call to individuation. Individuation is the lifelong journey of becoming your most whole, authentic self. It's the process of the ego learning to set aside its own plans, its own fears, its own desperate need for control, and learning to listen to the deeper wisdom of the self. The voice is telling Peter, and us, stop trying to possess the experience. Let the experience possess you. Stop trying to build something. Start becoming something. The goal is not to stay on the mountain. The goal is to let the memory of the mountain guide you when you're back in the valley. After the voice speaks, the cloud lifts, and Jesus is found alone. Moses is gone. Elijah is gone. The dazzling light is gone. The magic show is over. It's just them on a cold, windy mountaintop. And they have to walk back down. This, right here, is the cure for the peak experience hangover. The story shows us that the purpose of the mountaintop is not to be a destination, it's to be a revelation. It is a gift of orientation. It's a glimpse of your North Star, your own potential for wholeness, yourself. You are not meant to live there. You are meant to see it, to burn it into your memory, so that when you descend back into the messy, complicated, often disappointing reality of everyday life, you have a compass. You have a direction. The disciples fell silent. They didn't tell anyone what they had seen, not for a long time. The experience was too big for words. It had to gestate. It had to be integrated, not advertised. They had to carry the light within them, not just talk about it. So what does this mean for us here and now, with our own mountaintop hangovers? It means we need to reframe the entire experience. That feeling of loss and sadness the day after a peak moment is not a sign that you've lost the path. It is the echo of awe. It is the quiet, sacred space where integration happens. Instead of desperately scrolling through old photos trying to feel that feeling again, instead of trying to build a tent, the invitation is to sit in the quiet and ask a different question. Don't ask, how can I get that back? Ask, how has that changed me? Don't ask, how can I recreate that moment? Ask, what is that moment calling me towards? The vision on the mountain was a preview of a reality that was to be accomplished, in the story, through the difficult journey to Jerusalem, through the Exodus. The ultimate meaning wasn't found in the glorious light, but in the difficult path that followed. Your peak experiences are the same. They are not the reward at the end of your journey. They are the fuel for your journey. That moment of clarity, of love, of profound connection is a glimpse of your own inner gold, your own integrated self. The memory of it is a promise of what is possible. It's a light that can guide you through the valleys of anxiety, the fog of depression, and the dark nights of the soul that are an unavoidable part of any meaningful life. So the next time you find yourself on a mountaintop, by all means, soak it in. Feel the awe. Be grateful. It is a profound gift. But don't build a tent. When the vision fades and the silence returns, take a deep breath. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. And then, turn around and begin the sacred, transformative, and courageous work of walking back down the mountain. Because that is where your life is truly lived. Thank you.